everyone. Welcome to the Skeena Tahltan Mentorship panel. I'd like to have everybody introduce themselves. We're quite excited about the program that we have at Skeena, and you'll hear more about it. So I think we'll just head right off to the introductions. So maybe Justin, we can start with yourself, and then we'll have each of the Tahltan interns introduce themselves as well.
Thanks, Sue. My name is Justin Hillary. I'm the VP of Sustainability for Skeena Resources.
My name is Kyle Penner. I'm one of the Tahltan interns for Skeena Resources, and I'm a mine engineering student.
My name is Caden Wallace-Booth. I'm another Tahltan intern for Skeena Resources, and I am an electrical engineering student.
My name is Shelby Wallace-Booth. I'm another Tahltan intern working with Skeena, and I am a computer engineering student.
Thanks, everybody. I think we'll just start maybe asking some questions so everyone understands how the program came together, and we're quite excited about what's going on there. And so maybe I can ask each of the interns, and maybe we'll just keep the order the same, as to how you feel about being able to work back in your traditional territory, or what it means to you, and maybe your experience of your relationship with your nation prior to the work. So Kyle,
Yeah,
I'll start with you. Sorry.
Yes, please. I'll start. And yeah, working with Skeena has given me the opportunity to work up in the territory, and of course, there's a lot of my family and band working in the same area, so it's been a good opportunity to kind of get to know everyone and how the culture works on the work site up at site. I spent time in the territory prior to working with Skeena, some work and some personal time, but it's hard to really bite into the culture in the same way without really spending serious time working and living with the people. And so when you have a job to do, it really helps move everyone forward in one direction. And I was really happy to be a part of that, and I'm excited to continue being a part of that in the future.
Great, thanks, Kyle. Maybe how about you, Caden?
Yeah, for sure. Following off what Kyle said there, I was born in Whitehorse, Yukon, and moved to Manitoba when I was young. So I've been raised there. Haven't had much time to spend in the territories. So working for Skeena was awesome. Also being outside of the mining industry and not having much involvement in that was interesting because I was able to learn so much with Skeena. For example, last summer I was able to do a couple work terms in the territory working up at camp. So it was great to be able to go out and actually see the territories that I've been away from for a while.
Great. Thanks, Caden. And how about you, Shelby?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing for me. I also grew up in Winnipeg, moved when I was quite young. So this past year has been a really new experience, everything from even just seeing the territory, working at camp, to meeting a bunch of other Tahltan people who I hadn't had the chance to. Growing up in Winnipeg, there's not as much of a community there. So I think that's what really made it special was working with these other Tahltan crews and getting the chance to talk to them about it. So yeah.
And Justin, maybe you can just comment on Skeena's approach or thoughts on this program and how the interaction with, having Tahltan students coming and working at the project.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. The way that Skeena is looking at the Eskay Creek development is as chapter 2 of a past producing mine. And in the previous chapter of Skeena, or of the Eskay Creek project, there were a lot of Tahltan working on the site, in construction, in underground mining, in the mill, in the environment groups, and so on. So when we started looking at Eskay Creek, we started to think about this as the next stage of the project, in terms of Tahltan involvement as well. So moving forward in the evolution of Tahltan capacity in the mining space means having people involved at management level. and having people involved at senior levels within the organization, and eventually leading to having Tahltan run and operate the mine in their territory. So we came up with the concept of the mentorship program because we know there are a lot of Tahltan involved in post-secondary education, in engineering programs and environment programs, and so we went on a search for Tahltan who could participate in the mentorship program. Kyle, Caden, and Shelby are the first three that came into the program. We've identified a number of others since then, and I think that it will be probably up to 6 or 7 Tahltan interns here before we get to the end of 2021. And our objective behind the program is for these young students and recent graduates to work very closely with senior management so they understand the full scale of what it means to find and develop and build a mine and operate a mine. And it's an experience that they can carry forward in their careers. It's a very rare opportunity to work right with management in building a mine like we were doing. Many people don't get that opportunity until they're much later in their career. So we want to try to get these young people with that experience early in their career, get a jump start on being able to be participants in the whole management and operation of this mine when it comes on stream.
Great. So I was wondering if maybe each of the interns could just talk about what they're learning at school, their thoughts of what they maybe identified as a future career, and then, you know, understanding those opportunities in the mining industry that they might not have been aware of. Or I know, Kyle, it'll be a bit different for you, but maybe you can just each comment on your areas of study and how you're interacting with the Skeena project.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. As I mentioned, I'm in mine engineering at BCIT, and prior to that, I'd worked in the mining industry, but it was always at the face with gumboots on, so I never really got the full kind of broader outlook on how these operations work. And so since I came with Skeena, I've had the opportunity to interact with each of the different departments with the company. Sustainability, operations, exploration, and all the various sections. And so it's really given me a nice broad view of how this whole operation ties together. And it really, it kind of put all the work I've done in school and prior in my life into a really defined context, kind of. It really put the pieces together for me and gave me a better understanding of what's available and how it all works. And so moving forward here, it's really exciting times because, like I mentioned, my eyes have been open to a lot of the possibilities that I didn't see prior to working here.
Great. Sounds great. And Caden, how about you?
Yeah, for sure. So as I mentioned before, I'm an electrical engineering student at the University of Manitoba. My degree is very general, I would say. So I learned everything from microchip design all the way to power system transmission. I've had a lot of work experience working in Manitoba Hydro as well as oil and gas. So Skeena and mining was a totally different avenue for me that shares a lot of similarities with other large industry. So through my degree, I realized that what I'm interested in and what I'd like to see myself doing is more in the project management, project development of large scale projects like Eskay Creek. So given this opportunity to work for Skeena in the early stages of this project has taught me so much, and I'm so excited to continue on doing this.
Great, thanks. And you, Shelby?
Yeah, so as a computer engineering student, my degree is pretty broad, everything from software to hardware, software being like data storage, AI, any sort of computer science side, and then hardware being, building computers. But I was very surprised. I don't have a ton of experience working. I worked in IT previously, never anything in mining. In Manitoba, mining isn't as big of a deal as it is in British Columbia. So the whole industry was a big surprise for me. as far as how I can apply, like, and how I'm excited to join into the industry, working with sustainability, it's been really interesting. The data storage side of it, everything from environmental data to engagement with the communities has been a big part of that. So um, it's kind of where I've been applying my knowledge, but there's still so much to see, and as somebody who is really new to the industry, it's been really cool to see that.
Great. And Justin, maybe you can just comment on how did Skeena connect with these interns?
Through various channels. I think one of the benefits of, for Skeena in working in Tahltan territory is we have a bit of history with the management team prior to Skeena in working with the Tahltan leadership. And so in the beginning, it really took a lot of reaching into our personal networks within the nation, talking to the education coordinators, that kind of a thing. Just to give a few examples, for Shelby and Caden, we first met them at the Roundup conference in Vancouver. The Tahltan Nation had sponsored them to come out to the youth gathering at the Roundup conference in 2020. So that was our first meeting with Shelby and Caden. And for Kyle, actually, Kyle's dad worked on our project at SNP, and I'd had a chance to meet with Kyle. I got a reference for him from one of our good friends in the Tahltan Nation leadership, and I had a chance to meet him also. I think in 2019 was the first time that Kyle and I met. And so as Skeena grew, and I was looking for opportunities for Kyle to participate and other young Tahltan engineers to participate, we just got into the right sort of stage of the project and Skeena growth to bring them on board. And we did it as quickly as we could, because there's a lot of activity in Tahltan territory and a lot of competition between the various companies working up there for capable Tahltan workers and skill sets. And so we needed to get a little bit ahead of the curve and hire these guys before somebody else did.
Great. Maybe I'll just ask, sort of just to wrap this up, if each of you just have maybe some final comments or items you'd like to share about your experience working with Skeena. Kyle?
Yeah, thanks, Sue. So far my experience with Skeena has been really educational, and I've enjoyed it all throughout. Like I mentioned before, having that, getting to see each department, how they interact with each other, and with the various other organizations, like the government and the Tahltans, and just how the whole operation works has been, it's been really good for me. And like I say, it's really, I'm excited about the future as well. Just because, like I said, my eyes are open to a lot of the different opportunities, and I happen to be already have capitalized on one, and am as we move forward. So yeah, my time with Skeena has been excellent.
Great. And Caden?
Yeah, for sure. So final comments on Skeena. I also agree. This has been a great experience for us. Ever since meeting the management team out at Roundup last year was really interesting to connect with these working professionals, and got very excited to be able to work with them. Moreover on that, the ability to work within a small group and be able to see all of these different departments work collaboratively has been eye-opening, to say, and yeah, like a huge learning experience. Another thing just to touch on is COVID-19. So it's been obviously very difficult to work with this environment. So learning how to do this was really awesome to do in a small team, where we were able to, get together virtually and, work on things together. So I just thought that I was very inspired by how well we were able to do this in the past year.
Great, thanks. And Shelby?
Yeah, I agree. The virtual aspect of working has been a big hurdle to overcome, and I think we've done a pretty good job of doing so. as well as, you know, working with a small team has been really great because you get to kind of dip your toe into every aspect of the industry and see everything from the small to the big. And I am quite excited to see the team grow as well, because, you know, you get to see the whole process from you know, the beginning process to full operation. So yeah, been a great, you know, fantastic experience. I'm excited for many more years of that. So
Right.
yeah.
And Justin, any comments?
Yeah, thanks, Sue. The way that that we try to look at these issues within Skeena is through a lens of sustainability. Sustainability, both you know, for environment and communities, but also for the industry generally. And everybody knows that there is a gap in the demographic in the mining sector. There's not a lot of young people coming into mining, which is, I think, everybody's responsibility in the industry to try to address. The industry also plays a very, very strong role in reconciliation with Indigenous nations. Mining projects are built in remote locations, primarily within territories of Indigenous nations, on land that they have managed and shepherded for generations and generations. And so we have an obligation and a responsibility to acknowledge that, to participate in that in a way, and be a part of the reconciliation discussion that's happening right across the country. So that's our view, I think, of the motivations behind the mentorship program. Engaging young people in the industry, setting the stage for the future of our projects and for the future of the industry, and playing a strong hand and a strong role in reconciliation with Indigenous nations. And in this case, where Skeena works, that is with the Tahltan. So that's
Great.
thanks to.
Thanks. So maybe I can just add some closing comments too. I'm not sure if I said what my role is, but as an advisor to Skeena on Indigenous relations, but I've been very involved in the mentorship program. And for me, it's been quite thrilling to get to know the Tahltan interns. Waiting to meet a few of them face to face someday. We're looking forward to that. But yeah, just that opportunity to share our knowledge about the industry and their interest in, you know, learning about the industry, learning about our projects. And again, you know, the willingness at Skeena to be able to introduce them to all the different management groups and different groups in the company, I think has been great. They're getting to see sort of the big picture. And again, with Skeena being the size it is, we've been able to facilitate that. So I know from my personal perspective, my friends are always saying, "Oh, you love talking about the mentorship program," and I think it's something that's very important and dear to all of us at Skeena. To build these relationships and particularly, you know, the Tahltan interns, it's been great. So I think we'll maybe just wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for listening and dialing in to hear about what we're doing at Skeena with the Tahltan interns.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there.